All right. Mics are hot. We're going to let it breathe for just a second. We're going to let it breathe on this here September 11th, 20 years ago. Was a really awful day. We're going to give a significant amount of respect and acknowledgement to that as well. But before we get into anything else, good evening. What's up, Broncos country? We are just 12 hours away almost, Lance? Like we're one day, we're a night away from regular season football. And the guy next to me, Lance Sanderson, you saw him last night. He's doing double duty, back-to-back, Friday and Saturday night here on MHI. And Lance, I know you're pumped. I know you're ready for some football tomorrow, dude.
Dude, it's like I said last night when we went live. It's been just such a great build up for me. Going from training camp, going into the preseason, now going into week one. I'm super stoked, guys. Like it's 6:09. We're less than 24 hours away from the Broncos going live against the New York Giants up in MetLife Stadium up in New Jersey. I am super stoked, especially today. It's been a kind of a somber day. Sorry, we're going late today. That's kind of my fault, but was enjoying the day, enjoying the time with my family. Was just throwing the football around with my son Jace in the front yard. Got some burgers on the grill and whatnot. So excited to have some football coming back around to kind of distract us from what's going on today.
Yeah, I mean, it's a somber day. It's tough. It's a tough way to try to get through today and navigate through football and regular life when regular life was disturbed for the entire world 20 years ago today. Yeah. We lost so many heroes' lives. I'm still pissed off about it. But I'm so proud to be an American. I'm so proud to be here with you. And you are here with us tonight. He's Lance. I'm Luke. This is MHI. You can find us at MHI_pod on Twitter. This is the Mile High Insiders, of course. The mothership is Twitter at Mile High Huddle. I want you all to head over there. Go ahead and start following us now because we have the hottest Broncos content out there. There's no subscriptions. There's no fees. None of that funky stuff. Get on over to milehighhuddle.com. We have got your back. You want to go ahead and get some gear. You want to get yourself a Dove Valley Deep Diver hat, MHI shirt, a Huddle Up mug, gator, whatever you want to do, get on over to the huddleuppod.com and get your swag on. Lance, I can't tell you how many people from the MHH community I saw out at training camp wearing our stuff. Wearing your podcast stuff, my podcast stuff, Huddle Up. It was incredible. And guys coming up and gals, it's super humbling when we get to meet our family and our friends here in the MHH community. And before we go any further, let's say what's up to some folks because they're joining us here on this anniversary of 9/11. They are excited for football. They're excited for life. They're excited to be an American. And I want to kick it off. Joseph Anthony, how are you? God bless the United States and God bless our Denver Broncos. Absolutely love it, Joseph. Thank you very much. Stu McPeak is in the house as well. What's going on, Stu? It's good to see you. I hope you and yours are well. And speaking of well, Lance, did you see Howie freaking Day winning that Von Miller jersey? I mean, if you don't know what I'm talking about, guys, last month we did a $500K giveaway, if you will, so to speak. For every star, you are entered in a raffle to win a Justin Simmons jersey this month. But here's the thing, guys. You got to we have to, as a whole, get to 250,000 stars to get this Justin Simmons jersey. Now, things are going to be a little bit different from last month. So basically, our Facebook stars are going to be included in this. And then our top 5 super chats, those super chat superstars of the month are going to be raffled off in this as well. Get in right now and get your chance to get a Justin Simmons jersey, one of the best safeties in the NFL, if not the best. And we already have guys and gals in the house right now, starting it off. Stu McPeak, what's up, brother? I see you, King of the Hill. Our guy Michael Ronquillo sitting right there at number 2. Randy Jones at 3. Shane Daniels, man, 2,900 stars already. And there he is, that dang Howie freaking Day coming for another jersey. He's already got a 58. Looks like he wants a 31. Our guy Lawrence Rivera is also in the house. Simon right behind him. And then Travis Weber. Good to see you, Travis. Haven't seen you in a little bit. Our guy Gary Leeds Palmer still in the top 10, throwing down. And Andrew Baker. These guys have all got their stars in. These guys will all have a chance and an opportunity to get a Denver Broncos Justin Simmons jersey. If you want to do that, send some stars, send some super chats, throw some support, and get your hat in the ring. All right, Lance, here we go, baby. You're pulling it. You're pulling back-to-back shows. I know y'all talked a little bit of matchups last night. I felt so good after watching the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Cowboys game. That was just one of the best opening games I feel like we could have got as an NFL fan base. And it got me ready. It got me hyped. I'm thinking, oh, the Broncos are going to go in there and smash the Giants. Dude, today I'm starting to feel, am I overconfident in this? I know I'm excited. I know I got the coffee shakes and everything else, but I'm starting to get a little nervous now as time is creeping up. How are you feeling about the matchup in general with the Broncos and the Giants squaring off tomorrow?
All right, well, first things first, I'm not going to spoil anything. If you guys missed Dove Valley Deep Divers last night, right at the tail end of the episode, I gave my score prediction. You can also find every single Mile High Huddle Insider score prediction for the game at milehighhuddle.com with our weekly roundtable piece. Go check that out, guys. But to me, this game shouldn't be close. I mean, I'm super confident. Denver has a great roster. They're going up against a team that's really, really banged up. I mean, Evan Ingram's not going to play. Saquon Barkley is going to play, but it sounds like he could be potentially limited. Kenny Golladay has a groin injury he's kind of fighting through. So offensively, the Giants, especially with Daniel Jones throwing the ball around the yard, like they're not looking great. And this Broncos defense should be able to feast on that Giants offense. I really do feel confident. Quite honestly, I do, because even though Noah Fant is kind of banged up there on the offensive side of the football for the Denver Broncos, I mean, Teddy Bridgewater seems to be able to, control the offense and get things into sync just a little bit. Cortland Sutton seems to be looking really good. Jerry Jeudy seems to be looking really good. KJ Hamler has flashed off in the preseason. And this offensive line seems to be coming around into nice form. Bobby Massey looks really a lot better than DeMar Dotson did last year. And obviously Garrett Bowles, my guy, got to pound the chest one more time about him being an all-pro last year. This Broncos offense is going to feast against this Giants defense. And they're a good defense. Don't get me wrong. I don't think this game's going to be close, guys. I really don't. I think the Broncos are going to walk away out of this with a blowout victory. I really do.
Goosebumps, dude. You're giving me goosebumps, and I got to go back to your guy, Garrett Bowles, right? Because I've given you your due, man. I've given your due. I called him a bust, and he's completely turned it around. So I'll give you your due there. But why – I don't want to curse, but why was he not named a team captain? This guy's been doing everything out there at training camp to try to lead this unit. He might not be the most traditional leader or have the most polished set of PR answers, but GB got up on the podium and he felt like he was a little, at least in my eyes, he got some shade thrown his way because he's like, look, man, a lot of these other NFL teams have offensive linemen, at least one as a captain. And I'm sitting here as our Pro Bowl, all pro Garrett Bowles, and nothing. I mean, I don't get it, man. I really don't get it. I understand they're going to prop up Vaughn. He's only here for one more year, but that kind of bothered me, man. It irked me because a lot of people gave GB a lot of flack this summer, I feel like, because he was pissed off in practice, but he should have been. Is someone cared? I mean, he was upset when interceptions were being thrown. Him and Chubb mixing it up. I've got no problem with any of that. I just wish GB could have got that C.
I don't disagree with you on that, but still it does go back to what's going on in the practice room, what's going on in the film study room, what's going on in the classroom. But also it goes back to, what happened in his past. Like he played 3 years of really bad football and he was always holding, always getting called for holding penalties. But then especially in the practice field, especially over this last couple of weeks, the fights with Garrett, with Bradley Chubb, showing obvious frustrations at Drew Lock throwing an interception in the red zone in that one practice. But still, I mean, if you're going to be a team captain, you have to be that mellow-minded guy, the guy that's going to calm everything down and de-escalate situations when he's the guy at the forefront of escalating those situations. I mean, quite honestly. Right. If you're out there on the field and throwing punches and fighting with the opponent, how can you be a guy that's going to de-escalate a situation when you're at the forefront of it? So to me, that's kind of the biggest thing. So, and I don't want to go into the hot takeaway deal. I think that there is some, some tempers flaring and stuff like that in practice. Bradley Chubb's still a very good player. We're hopefully going to see him a lot tomorrow. And I mean, Garrett Bowles being a good player, Bradley Chubb being a good player, they're dominating each other one-on-one. It's hot out there. Tempers start to flare. This is football we're talking about. It's not a sissy sport. Like let's have some fun out here. And, I mean, I get it. to one point, but also at the other side, you've got to be that guy that can calm down when emotions run hot and de-escalate a situation and not be the first guy to throw a punch. And to me, Garrett Bowles, being a guy that has always been highly emotional, especially about his performance and especially about guys that get into his face, he's the first guy to go jump in there and shove a guy away from another guy and break up a fight, but also instigate one. So kind of a tricky situation there.
I think that's a really fair answer, Lance, and I like it. And I like the fight. You need a Garrett Bowles. You need this team doesn't have enough fighters. I mean, we all remember the John Elway line of we need kickers and screamers. Well, this team's got talent and they've also got some attitude now, something that I am absolutely pumped to see. But before we get out, before we go any further, I got to get this one. Shout out to Richie Incognito. That guy, can you believe he's still in the league? First of all, just freaking amazing. Let's get to some supers, Lance. Let's open it up here to the chat line here. Richie Rich, I see you, buddy. Good to see you. Corey, Travis, how are you? Peter Middleton, what's going on, buddy? What's good? I hope you and the family are doing well. Muhammad Badri's in the house.
Hey, I want to jump in really quick on Peter Middleton, who's joining us from Cambodia. That dude shows up Friday nights in Cambodia. It's like 5 o'clock in the morning where he's at. He wakes up every single Friday and now on Saturday to come in and show his love and support for the Mile High Huddle community. Shout out to Peter again.
That's absolutely awesome, man. Yeah, I had a gentleman today giving us a shout out from Germany, all over the world. We got our guy Keith across the seas, James across the seas, Broncos country, man. It's deep. It's so deep. I absolutely love it. It adds to the theory of Broncos country is not a theory, rather. It's our flagship. It's something that we hang our hats on. Broncos country is not a geographical location. It is a state of being. He is Lance Sanderson. You can find him at Sanderson MHH. I'm Luke Patterson at Luke Patterson LP on Twitter. What's going on, Aaron Lynch? Good to see you. And bear with me, y'all, because I am doing this producing thing right now, and I'm trying to do my best. So here we go. Seth Harmon. We're going to get this going, buddy. You're kicking us off. Thank you so much for your support. Seth, you just earned yourself a raffle in that Justin Simmons jersey. How many touchdowns is Melvin Gordon getting? I love that. I love that because Seth is coming in hot saying, look, we're about to run the ball, and Javonte Williams, he's going to be the starter. I understand that, but not yet. Melvin Gordon has looked great. I've been critical of Melvin his entire career. I could not speak higher of him in training camp, Lance. So Seth knows he's going to score. How many touchdowns are we going to get from MG?
Double digits. 12.
Ooh.
12. Against the Giants, he's gonna probably punch one in. I don't want to guarantee that one, but that's a part of my 31-13 score breakdown for the Denver Broncos in that blowout victory against the Giants. But Melvin Gordon, they're going to lean on him a lot this year, guys. He is the clear-cut running back one from all accounts in training camp. And Luke, you were there to see it. So if I'm wrong on that, please do feel free to correct me. But Melvin Gordon looks fantastic. He looks healthy. He looks fresh. His legs are churning. He's running tough. He is doing a lot, especially between the tackles, and they're getting him incorporated in the running game. But the biggest thing you got to think about with Melvin Gordon is when things get close, when things get tight down in the red zone, and the field gets shorter lengthwise than it does widthwise, that's where Melvin Gordon's going to do his best work because that dude has a nose for the end zone. Javonte Williams does as well, but I think they're going to lean on the big vet, the guy they're paying $8 million a year to go and pound those touchdowns in the end zone, in the red zone specifically.
I absolutely love it, man. The ground and pounds. Pat Shurmur has got to stay committed to that. It's his best chance of getting him another head coaching job, if we're going to be honest. It's all about complimentary football. We hear Vic Fangio. Listen to him at the press conference tomorrow, Broncos country. Listen about in tag how many times he says complimentary football. He's a defensive guy. That's what he cares about. That's what he knows. How do you do that? You run the football. And let's keep it going because, Lance, we've got a lot of eyes on us tonight, and I appreciate y'all joining MHI. He is Lance. I'm Luke, and we are getting ready for Broncos versus Giants tomorrow. Casey in the house with a $4.99 super. Thank you so much. Von's only here for one more year. Yeah, so that's kind of in response to something I said. It's speculation on my end, but I would say it's very popular theory amongst experts and analysts alike that this is Von's last rodeo, at least here in Denver. Now, since having son Valor, Von has said that he would like to continue to play. And, watching Tom Brady play, Von's thinking, hey, I want to play a long time too. What do you think is in the cards for Von Miller's future with the Denver Broncos? Is this his final goodbye tour?
Well, I don't want to jump on that bandwagon yet and say that this is his final, like the final year for him in Denver, but it is his final year of his contract. So, and George Paton already approached him about taking a pay cut. That was something that was widely published across Mile High Huddle and across multiple different platforms in Denver media. And he said no. And George Paton said, all right, well, we'll just ride it out. We'll pick up the option and we'll have you here on this last year of your deal. Now, where it goes after this season, it really depends on his performance this year. I mean, he had a quote-unquote down year. I will say with the quote-unquote on that, a down year in 2019 where he only had like 8 sacks. Bradley Chubb missed some time, but he was the number 2 finisher in the NFL in terms of pressures. And his pass rush win rate was a top 5 figure as well. So a down year, yeah, he didn't get a whole lot of sacks and he didn't lead the league in sacks and he wasn't even anywhere close to the top of the league in sacks, but at the same time, he was still very effective, and he's still a very effective player in the running game, and that's something that the Broncos desperately need right now, especially in Vic Fangio's defense that relies on stopping the run, creating long down and distance situations for his secondary to create some turnover-worthy plays. If Von Miller is going to come out this year, coming off of that ankle injury he had last year where he missed the entire season, I would say if he gets over 10, maybe 11 sacks, something like that, if I'm George Paton, you know what, let's give you another 2-year deal, $15, $16, $17 million because the new TV deal is going to kick in. The salary cap's going to hike up. That's quality money for Von Miller. Stay here for another 2 years, finish out your career in Denver. I would love that to be the final end game for Von Miller in a Denver Broncos uniform.
That remains to be seen, man. It's going to be tough because decisions need to be made about some contracts coming up here for some young guys that are young, but they're no longer rookies. We're talking Cortland Sutton, of course. Dalton Reisner is going to be coming up. You got to figure out what you're going to do with Bradley Chubb. You got to figure out what you're going to do with your inside linebackers. I mean, talk about making a commitment. They like Alexander Johnson and Josie Jewell. They don't love them. They really like the upside of your guy that we were going back and forth on. Justice Surratt, man. Absolutely loved him in training camp, dude. Just absolutely one of those guys that is a football playing Jesse. And speaking of football playing Jesse, our guy Mo is up in the house. What's up, Mo? Good to see you. Muhammad Badri with the $5 super saying the smooth killer and the king. Is that your nickname? The king? You be king? You the king?
I'm not sure if I'm the king, but you know what? I don't even know if I'm a football priest, but at least I'm a cardinal or something like that. I don't know.
There we go. We got to take a shot at those Huddle Up boys when we can, guys. Hey, be sure to check it out. The Huddle Up pod will be on tomorrow reacting to the game. So as soon as the game ends, flip on over to this channel, YouTube, subscribe, like, and share, and get over with those Huddle Up boys. Chad and Zach will be taking you through. We're talking Von Miller for a second here, and I can't help but wonder and throw a little bit of shade at the Buffs, Colorado Buffs that got beat today by Von Miller's team. I'm more of a CSU guy, but it's one of those things where Von Miller's going to be facing a former Buff that we know well, that he knows well, and Nate Solder. Nate Solder did not play last year. It's going to be interesting to see him back in the lineup. What do you project happening in that matchup between Nate Solder, a player that Von Miller has gone against for years in New England, and now he's in the twilight aspect of his career, not the player he once was, but if we're being honest, neither is Von. So what do we expect out of this matchup? I expect a long day for Nate, if I'm going to be honest, man, because although I get asked all the time, how'd Von look in training camp? I didn't notice him. You know why? Because Von can wreck every single practice. I think he has to kind of put the leash on himself a little bit and not just wreck every right tackle that he's ever played against. So Nate Solder, Von Miller, what do you think of that matchup? Who's going to get the better of one another?
Man, it goes back to something that your boy Mark Schlereth said on 104.3 The Fan the other day when he was out in he wasn't out there in Minnesota, but he was talking to some coaches in Minnesota about what Von Miller was able to do out there in those joint practices a couple of weeks ago. And those Minnesota coaches ranted and raved about him, about how he was looking like the 2015 Von Miller. And again, we all know how that ended. And Von Miller, was the Super Bowl MVP that season. So if that's the kind of Von Miller we're looking at this year, where he's refreshed, his legs are fresh, it sounds like he's not quite as bulky as he was last year, but he's still looking really, really strong, really stout. He has that bend, that dip, that speed, that burst off the line of scrimmage. For Nate Solder, you're missing an entire year of football as well, but he has already seen that decline. When he was in New England, he was already starting to see that decline at left tackle. They switched him over to the right side. Andrew Thomas on the left side now. And Nate Solder missing a year of football, already on the decline. I think Von Miller's going to destroy him.
Yeah.
Von Miller's going to get 2 sacks and a strip sack, by the way.
Ooh, dang. There's those turnovers that the Denver defense has got to get. I'm logging. I see a lot of folks saying, look, we're gonna pick off that guy out there, some guy named Daniel Jones. I think this is a perfect opportunity to get an interception if you're Justin Simmons, if you're a PS2 in your very first game and you want to get a game ball. How's that for a hot take prediction? I'm not worried about this kid not being on the depth chart as the starter, Lance. I'm not. You know as well as I know, Vic Fangio will tell you ad nauseum that these nickel and dime packages are becoming the base defense here. So just because he's not starting on the depth chart, nobody freak out, nobody panic. You'll see plenty of PS2.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And we actually got kind of asked this question yesterday on the Dove Valley Deep Divers podcast about, is Pat Surtain going to play the first snap defensively? And to me, you can't really give a definitive answer to that, just because of most often, especially with Vic Fangio and all across the NFL, your defensive personnel is dictated by the offensive personnel. What are the first guys coming out off in the rotation? And so when the offense is coming onto the field, you have spotters up in the stands. They're looking and saying, all right, they're sending out 3 wide receivers, 1 running back, so 11 personnel. We need to be in nickel, or we need to be in dime in this certain down and distance situation. So it doesn't necessarily matter if Pat Surtain is the first guy, the first cornerback on the field, not even in the slot as an off-ball linebacker or a safety, kind of that star role that he looks, or even out on the boundary. It really doesn't matter, because he's going to still see a lot of snaps on that defensive side of the football for the Broncos. So I can't answer if he's going to be a true starter, but he's going to play, I would guess, 55 to maybe 60% of the snaps this season. Like, quite honestly, because Vic Fangio already knows we're playing 5-6 defensive backs at any given down and distance situation. So, and Pat Surtain at cornerback 4, he's going to be one of the first guys that comes on the field.
Well, and he's a damn good tackler, and
Vic
Fangio, he needs that. I mean, especially when you're a corner. So everybody, I'm just like you, right? I'm Broncos fan. I get caught up in some of the hype sometimes too. So I get caught up when Champ Bailey says, "Man, I really like this kid. I think I see shades of myself here." I get caught up in that, but you know what? I remember the tackler that Champ Bailey was too. Something that I feel like is very missed in his game, because he was such a freak athlete in the air and snagging down balls and locking down receivers. Champ Bailey was a smart tackler. He put himself in the position to wrap up and roll. And he was one of the best perimeter corners of all time. And speaking of the GOATs, one of the best of all time, Stu McPeak in here with a very special super chat.
Zeus!
Yeah, there you go. In remembrance of my fallen coworkers on the 2 United flights. Oh, wow. I will never forget. Let's go Broncos. Thoughts and prayers. Speak for Lance, certainly, when I express that, Stu. It's gives me goosebumps, man. Let's talk about that for a little bit. Where were you, Lance, 20 years ago today? And how old were you? We all remember where we were, and we will never forget. But obviously, Stu, thoughts and prayers. Where were you 20 years ago today when that dreadful series of events unturned?
I was actually riding the bus to school that day. I was in 5th grade in Mrs. Marker's 5th grade class. And when I got to school, as kids, you don't know, you're outside playing. And when you walk inside, you can kind of just sense that there's not necessarily something right. And we had classes scheduled all day, typical 5th grade day, and Mrs. Marker came out and she sat us down, because we always started the day with a reading. She would read us a couple chapters in a book, and we would all kind of get settled down and ready for the day. And instead of bringing a book out, she brought a TV out, and she plugged it into the wall, and then plugged it into another outlet in the wall, and we watched the news for 4 hours. And at the time, I didn't necessarily know exactly what was going on, but you could tell that it wasn't a good situation. And then to see her sitting in the corner with her hand over her mouth for literally hours, we did not move, we did not touch the TV, and she sat there the entire time with her hand over her mouth. And then they let us go home at about noon. And when I got home, my mom was there, and she just gave us all big, gigantic hugs and told us how much she loved us and that she was so thankful for us to be able to come home safe that day. And then for months after, when we finally figured out and knew what was going on, I mean, we'd be outside playing and you see a plane fly over your head and you were scared. Like, you were always scared. You just didn't know if something else was going to happen. And I'll never forget. Everyone says I'll never forget. We will never forget. And I will always, always, always remember that day. And like I said, today, before we came live, I had a moment with my family. I had a moment with my son. I had a personal moment there for a minute as well, where just watching the New York Mets and the New York Giants, the pregame and watching that, I went to the kitchen and I cried. This day means so much to me, so much to this country, and I hope that people understand that this is a very serious, somber day, and I hope that everyone reflects and loves on their families, because you never know if it's going to be another one like this.
I really appreciate you sharing that personal story, and we don't do that here on our shows. We run through the numbers, we write, we podcast, we fight like cats and dogs on social media, but there are bigger things than me flapping my gums, especially when I see one of our guys here losing members of his family, his friends and family. I grew up a firefighter's son. My dad's a chief, and then I worked in the fire department for a little bit too. 9/11 was one of the biggest reasons I joined the fire department. I've done the stair climbs, packed up. It's a really important day for me and my family, as it is for everybody as well. And it's awful. 403 first responders were killed. 343 firefighters, 37 Port Authority police officers, and 23 New York City police officers. A lot of times, I know, especially in the fire department realm, we get caught up in the 343. There's so many more lives were lost than just the 403 first responders. But respect, thank you for your service to everybody in the military, all the men and women around the world. I know Lance and I greatly appreciate love, respect, and we need you. That being said, the Broncos and the Giants played that same week. Lance, how weird is that? Eddie Mack broke his leg. Right? Yeah. It all comes full circle in this bizarre way.
So I was actually listening to 850 KOA the other day in Colorado Morning News, and they had a young man, I can't remember his name, Michael Bocci, I think is what his name was, wrote a book called Sway, the memoirs of a child of a loved one that lost their life in the 9/11 accident, and it was just crazy to hear the stories and to hear the way that it affected his life after everything that happened. And man, I lost my train of thought there because I still get choked up.
Yeah, and you have especially when you're a parent, right? And your dad, just like me, and like most of our folks are men and women too on this channel. They're parents as well. And Aaron Lynch weighing in here, he had attended that Broncos game on September 10, 2001. I woke up the next morning to my family huddled around the TV.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Never forget. Wow, Aaron.
And that's the point that he was trying to make, was that late night game in New York. There was who knows how many people that called in sick late to work that were supposed to be at the World Trade Center that stayed up to watch the Giants beat the Broncos that day, and they never actually got there. Like, and those people, those people have a burden that maybe will never even understand. Like that could have been them. That could have been anybody. But
sure. And it still can. And that's the thing. Like, and it still can. The war on hate is not over. That's why we have got to try to be the light in the darkness. We have got to rally around each other. We've got to pick each other up. And that's something we always try to promote here at MHH, especially in our community. I know you do it. I do it. All of our guys and gals do it all over across the board. We're all about lifting each other up. We're not putting anybody down. If you guys are putting somebody down, I'm kicking you off the chat. It's as simple as that. So let's get back to the chat real quick. We're talking some matchups.
Hold on real quick. I want to grab this really fast before it disappears. I got Chris Hernandez on a $5 super sticker. Nothing to say, just showing some love. Can't show the sticker. Unfortunately, we don't got a producer behind the scenes, but Chris, thank you. And also, we appreciate your service, man. You a 21-year veteran So Chris has been has served this country and understands a big part of what this day is. So thank you, Chris, for all of your service, and thank you for your support.
Yeah, that's wow. Thank you, Chris. That's absolutely amazing. Good to see you, man. I haven't seen you in a little bit. It's good to see some familiar. It's good to see some familiar names pop up. Lance, you said it best. Today's a somber day. Today's the day of remembering. Today's the day of celebrating your loved ones. Tomorrow should be a day of unification. One day, guys. Let's have one day where we unite, whether that be rejoicing in football, rejoicing in being an American, rejoicing in our freedoms, rejoicing in your family. Be together tomorrow, be good, and let's watch some football.
Yes,
Speaking
sir.
of football, oh, dude, I'm a little worried. All right, you're talking up our offensive line, and I'm there with you. Von Miller's like, dude, this is the best offensive line I've seen in a long time. I'm right there with you. I completely agree. I like Lloyd Cushingberry's upside a lot. I think he's significantly improved. Graham Glasgow, okay, I think he's probably one of the weaker points on the team right now, but if he's one of the weaker points, I'll take it. What do you see from the interior defensive line? Because I know you guys talked Giants last night, so talked a little bit about defense. Man, Dalton Reisner is going to have his hands full. Lloyd Cushingberry is going to have his hands full. The interior defensive line for New York is no joke, just like the secondary. Do you see the protection issues and having problems, protecting Teddy Bridgewater?
So we talked a lot about it. It was one of the key matchups that Eric had on Dove Valley Deep Divers last night was Leonard Williams versus Lloyd Cushingberry specifically, because Leonard Williams is arguably one of the strongest interior defensive linemen in the NFL, if not the strongest, other than Aaron Donald. Like, quite honestly, this dude is a game wrecker. He's great in the running game. He's great in the passing game. He lines up in multiple different fronts. He can play that 1 tech. He can play the 3 tech. He can play a little bit of the 5 tech as well, though that's not necessarily his greatest strong suit, but his best strong suit is quite literally using strength and converting speed to power. Like, that guy is a monster. And if you all know how critical we were of Lloyd Cushingberry last year for his lack of functional strength, especially in the running game, and also as a pass protector, Leonard Williams is going to wreck him if he hasn't actually improved upon that functional strength. Lloyd Cushingberry versus Leonard Williams is one of the biggest key matchups to watch, man.
Well, and he's going to have some help. He's going to have Dalton Reisner slide to him. Yep. He's going to have Glasgow slide to him. God forbid there's such penetrate. You say Aaron Donald, and I, piddle in my pants a little bit already if I'm an offense. If there's that interior nosebleed, you're going to have running backs start chipping. You're going to have to start running some power eyes. You will see Andrew Beck as that traditional F. But this is where we run the football, something we talked about. What's the best way to get around it? You got to go right at him. If we're going to be honest, man, you got to go right at him. You got 2 different dynamics running backs in Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams. You cannot just get caught up in the 10, 11 personnel, Pat Shurmur, of Teddy Bridgewater, 5-step drop, 3-step drop. We can't be doing that against this New York Giants team. They're going to get after this Broncos offensive line. It doesn't mean the Broncos offensive line is awful either, because I hear you. New York, they're the Giants, right? They've won I think it's 18 wins the last 4 years. Broncos don't have many more either, but this Giants team is not to be slept on, especially in that first game. I'm looking forward to seeing where the energy is really focused at for that Broncos offensive line. So that being said, guys, he is Lance Sanderson at Sanderson MHH. I'm Luke Patterson at Luke Patterson LP on Twitter. You're joining the Mile High Insiders. Lance doing back-to-back duty for me tonight. He had Dove Valley Deep Divers last night, joining me tonight. And we're heading up kind of on our last segment here, and I like to open it up a little bit to the chat line. Donald weighing in real quick, saying, look, guys, I remember some real awful, ugly visuals on those days. We all do. And Lance, before the show started, just to kind of peek behind the curtain, you had talked about describing the events of the day to your son. I did the same thing with my daughter today, and all without going to YouTube, right? It was kind of, we're going in the car. We're going to flag football, by the way. On the way to flag football, and when I got there, I'm seeing Broncos jerseys all over something I haven't seen in 4 years, Lance. I mean, this town is starting to rally. This town is excited. I think they're done with the quarterback battle. People can be whatever, but I think Broncos country is starting to get up for this game. I think they're starting to get up for this team. They see the talent. They see the potential, that dirty word. But that's a welcome sight, man. It's a sight for sore eyes to see orange around again in the Mile High City.
Yeah, it's quite honestly, it's the most excited I've been for a Broncos football season in the last 5 years. The Vance Joseph era, we all know how that worked. I mean, we're back, but
best drop ever,
dude. I love it. I love it so much. But no, this roster is built very well. They're very deep, especially at the cornerback position. The offensive line looks like they're finally rounding into form. Regardless of the quarterback situation, I think that this team can win 10 games. I really do. I think that they're playoff bound. The defense alone. Vic Fangio might have some gas as far as a head coach goes, but there's enough talent here. So long as they don't have 32 total turnovers and lead the league in turning the football over and have the worst turnover differential in the NFL like they did last season. I mean, there's a lot to like here, and it doesn't surprise me that the Broncos country is starting to rally around this team. Like they're going to be good. They are really going to be a very good football team. They're going to surprise a lot of people this year.
Ooh, they damn well better be, because if they're not, a lot of folks are going to be without a job, and we'll get to our picks at the end of the show.
I was going to say, Corwin Robinson dropped some stars here asking what the score prediction is. I already have mine earlier in the show.
All right, let's spit it. Go ahead, tell me.
You want to get it? I just wanted to show him some love for showing some stars.
Give it to me right now.
Like I said at the onset of the show, man, I don't think this game's going to be close. I really don't. I think that the Broncos are going to dominate the New York Giants. Front, back, side to side, they're going to get after Daniel Jones. That offensive line looks terrible, especially on the inside. They're missing Shane Lemieux. They're starting, I think, his left guard. They're moving Will Hernandez from right side to the left side, inserting a name that I don't even recognize. Andrew Thomas was terrible at the left tackle position last year, and he's not getting any better from the sound of it. Nate Solder's an old man. He wasn't even expected to win the job. In fact, there was a lot of talk about him getting cut. Like they were going to start Matt Pert, the second-year player out of UConn, I believe is where he was from at the right tackle position, but he couldn't even beat out Nate Solder. So this offensive line is in double-duty trouble, man. I tell you what, Von Miller is going to wreck this game. He's going to have 2 sacks and a strip sack. Pat Surtain's going to pick off Daniel Jones very early in the game. He's going to take that for 6. Denver is going to win this game in a rout, 31-13. Book it.
Whoa. 31-13, man. I'm opening this to chat line because they know. When was the last time the Broncos scored above 30 points? They've historically for like the last 4 or 5 years, I think, been hovering around 16, 17 points. I love it. I love the optimism. But you know what we haven't talked about, and it's the last segment of the show, and it's bizarre? The quarterback. How's Teddy Bridgewater going to play? I think he's going to play lights out. I really do. Lights out doesn't mean he's going to be throwing 80-yard bombs to KJ Hamler. Look for the dink and dunk. Sometimes that's okay, especially if your primary bread and butter is going to be running the game. It's all about third and short, getting into those manageable positions if you're Pat Shurmur. How do you manage the game? Well, it's all about the clock. It's all about momentum. It's about keeping your defense fresh. You want to feast on Daniel Jones? Keep Von Miller rested, keep him happy, and folks, don't sleep on Malik Reed. I don't know what Bradley Chubb's workload is going to look like. I expect he'll play, but I think his snap count is obviously going to be limited. But Noah Fant, I think he's going to play. He's going to surprise some folks out there. Don't sleep at all. I know I love Albert O, but this team likes Saubert, Lance. They really like Eric Saubert. It's we're coming out of Drake, I think. Like I saw this guy at training camp, and I'm thinking, who's this guy spiking the ball on Justin Simmons on the first day of pads right now? Like probably not the smartest thing to do. I don't know if you're going to make the team. And then out of nowhere, here he comes, man. He's that Y tight end. I would look for him to get a little bit of run, but here's something I'm worried about. Special teams, brother. Special teams. It's something. Tom McMahon is like one of the most vilified folks in this state right now, and it's tough, man. It's really tough if you don't have a special teams unit that is worth their salt. You're going to be picked apart, and it only takes one play for a returner, as you know, to break one. Something we will have to see. I'm going to get my pick in real quick before we finish up with some supers. I got the Broncos winning this 27-13. Overall, we just released as a staff, we released a record season predictions, if you will. And then we also did our roundtable. You can find that at milehighhuddle.com, where Lance wrote a paragraph, I wrote a paragraph, Chad, everybody, Eric, Nick, everybody got their 2 cents in. But for me, Vic Fangio's defense is going to stand pat. I do expect them to give up a touchdown. I mean, come on, this is the NFL here. We might be able to, punk the Giants a little bit here, but they still, this grown man ball, just like you said. I mean, these guys have all made it into the NFL. If their defense can feast, it's going to give their offense a lot of spark, a lot of hope, a lot of opportunity. I don't know if Daniel Jones runs one in on some weird freaky play, but overall, I love your optimism. I do. I just don't trust this team yet. I got to see it. I've got them going 8-9 right now. I know. I've got them going 8-9. It's just so tough for me, Lance, to not have an owner, to not have a head coach who's got his stamp on the offense, and to not have that quarterback resolution. And I love Teddy. I love it. Guys, don't worry. You're going to see Drew Lock start this year by hook or by crook. We promise you. I promise you. I'm not going to speak for you, Lance, but I promise you will see Drew Lock this year.
Oh, no. I'm with you. I'm with you on that. Drew Lock's going to start eventually at some point, and it's probably going to be because Teddy Bridgewater is injured. Quite honestly, because if Teddy Bridgewater is playing well, and as well as everyone wants to hate on him for what he did last year, but you got to understand, guys, he had a terrible offensive line. He had no tight end. He lost Christian McCaffrey, the best weapon on that team, and he still had 2 1,000-yard receivers in DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson. The guy spreads the football around, and he knows what he's doing. Quite honestly, and he's a solid quarterback. Let's just be honest here. He's a solid quarterback. He's not great. He's not flashy. He doesn't do the greatest things. He went 5-0 with the New Orleans Saints with a roster built very, very similarly to what the Broncos have right now. Has a plethora of weapons, a solid offensive line, and a good running game with 2 guys that can tote the rock. I'm telling you, it's the way that Drew Lock's going to play is if Teddy Bridgewater literally falls flat on his face or he gets hurt, which is likely. So we're going to see Drew Lock eventually, probably around week 12.
Well, week 12. Mark it down. I like that. I think that's fair because that's right off of the bye week, right? Week 11 is the bye. There he is. See, I know what you're doing there. I know how you work, Lance. I like it. That's a very smart take. I think something that could be very realistic. And here's the thing, too, before we get to you, Kevin, Matt Rule is a bum. Okay, I said it right here on these airwaves. He's a bum. I got to talk to him, be around his staff at the Senior Bowl.
Wait. You were one of the guys that was touting him for his energy at the Senior Bowl and the way that he orchestrated his practices. Explain yourself, please, on that. I'm calling you out.
Rule.
I'm calling you out.
No. That wasn't Matt Rule. No way. That was Flores, homie.
Okay. So I got it.
That was Flores. Yeah. See, you gotta.
My bad.
Put your respect on this name, son.
It was your boy Cecil Lammy. It was your boy Cecil Lammy that was touting Matt Rule.
Hey, you got no. I know he's not a fan of Matt Rule either, but hey, maybe that's some KOA versus the fan thing. By the way, I will tell you guys this too. We might fight on Twitter. All of us, KOA guys, fan guys, me, you, everybody. We're all a bunch of just NFL guys that just we're keyboard warriors on Twitter. We're at the bars having beers every night down there in Mobile. So for what it's worth, just like we're talking about 9/11, all the things that matter. We love the energy. We love to get into some prison matches, if you will, but it's all fun and games at the end of the day. Kevin Peterson coming in here with a $5 super. We're going to get some last supers in here and get y'all on your way. Let's go, fellas. 31-9 blowout. Broncos win. Praying for good special teams play. Ain't worried about the other side. Man, Kevin is coming in there feeling your optimism too, Lance, saying, hey, dude, it's a blowout. 31-9. Whew, I would love that. I mean, when is the last time something like that ever happened to the Denver Broncos? It's been years.
So I got to agree with Kevin here, and I agree with you as well. With Tom McMahon, how does that guy still have a job? Like, I don't understand his comments the other day about getting KJ Hamler out there returning kicks, saying, you're going to see a lot of surprises this year. Like,
what did that mean?
Exactly. What does that mean? Put your best players out there if you want to score. If you're using a punt return as a scoring play, you put your best players out there to score the football. And shout out to Tyler Plumbus for hearing that one, by the way. But no, it's absolutely correct. What are you doing? Your coverage units are terrible right now. You have the highest lack of discipline I've seen watching professional football. In fact, my son, who just played a football game today, and they won 16-14. By the way, shout out to the the Riverton Middle School Spartans for actually putting a beat down on Powell. But no, I've seen bad disciplined football, and those 8th graders, they had better disciplined football and special teams than the Broncos do right now, and that's saying something. Tom McMahon really has to figure it out. He's got a lot of depth players. Caden Stearns, that's my dude. I'm telling you, Caden Stearns is going to be a rock star on the special teams unit. All 4 core special teams units. Caden Stearns is going to be a starter on that. He's going to be a rotational player this year on the as a safety as well. But you've got the players now, Tom. Figure it out and go figure out a way to stop these big returns. And he hasn't done so far in the preseason. So
yeah, man. I know Vegas has Fangio is the odds-on favorite right now, 5-1. I think last time I checked, right, to get fired. I wonder who the assistant. Yeah, the first assistant coach to go has got to be Tom McMahon. Because it's been tough. Duke coming in the house. What's up, Duke? $5 super. Appreciate you so much. Denver wins tomorrow. Broncos country is feeling energized. They're ready for some football, dude. It's been such a long off season, man. I mean, with the current circumstances of our world, I feel like the off season has gotten even longer. You and I, it's always been okay because we cover the draft. We dive super deep into everything draft related scouting. So we don't really ever have an off season, but meaningful football is back, man. I'm so tired of watching cut-ups. I'm so tired of watching the same stuff. I want to see something new. So Tom McMahon gonna give me a little something, and give me a little something, and put some respect on that man's name, because I just don't see anything going his way unless the special teams absolutely bails him out. It's going to be tough. Dylan Von Arks, I want to give you a shout out. Dylan's always working really hard for us here at MHH2. He helps a lot. He's a huge member of our community. Appreciate everything you do, Dylan. I hope you and your family are well on this anniversary of 9/11, and I hope you guys have awesome plans for tomorrow for football. And hey, shout out to one of our own. Did you see Ken Booker's out there in New York? I saw on Twitter, man. I seen him like, man, that guy. He's like, I flew in. He was skydiving in Hawaii one week, and now he's like over there in New York getting ready for the game. Like, that dude, man, is living life to the fullest. Respect to Ken, another one of our service members here on our MHH staff. So if you're going to be out there tomorrow, you might see Ken Booker. I know we saw a few folks in the chat line saying, I'm going to be at the game tomorrow. I'm like, dude.
Yeah, I saw one as well, yeah.
Look out for Ken. Look out for Ken Booker and go say what's up to him, man. Go say what's up. We do have some special stuff coming down the pike here at MHH, guys. September is going to be a really cool month, especially that home opener on September 19th. Little something is going to be happening. More to come on that in future days. Let's wrap this up. Tie a big red bow on it. Stu McPeak is coming in here. Dude, Stu has been killing it. Stu, I think you're coming for that Justin Simmons jersey. You're Justin Simmons guy, aren't you, Stu? I can feel it, man. I can feel that 31 jersey. He wants it bad. Coaching is the biggest thing that I'm worried about with the Broncos. It's an awesome team, not so good coaching, especially special teams. Special teams lost the game for the Cowboys. Stu, man, you are absolutely right. They lost the game for the Cowboys. It was the missed PAT and then the 2 missed field goals. Oh, man.
Well, it wasn't just 2 missed field goals. I mean, one of them was a 60-yarder at the end of the half, which I don't blame. At the time, I didn't blame.
He almost made it.
I don't blame the decision. Like I think they were down or up 1 or down 2. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I know that the Cowboys were going to walk out of the half with the lead, and they were getting the football back to go into the second half. Like they were in the game, closing moments of the first half. Why not try it? If you miss it, okay, they kneel down on it. You're down 2. If you hit it, you're up 1 and you get the football back. Like, why not? The biggest thing to me, and I drafted Greg Zuerlein 2 days before this in fantasy football. I drafted him 2 days before this. He missed a 31-yarder and then hit the upright on an extra point, and that was the biggest reason why the Cowboys lost that. And I also am now down in my fantasy football because of that. So.
Damn, dude. Damn. Travis Weber coming in. Great show tonight, guys. We're starting to tie it up here. I wanted to grab this one real quick because this is a really good question. What's up, Jay? I see Jay in the chat as well. Haven't seen you in a bit, brother. Hope you're well. Savage Boy Kev coming in. What do you guys think about the Broncos being predicted to go 11-6 and securing the 6th seed in the playoffs? Well, Savage Boy, my guy Lance, pretty much hit that one on the nose. If you missed it, you can find it on this podcast for the Mile High Insiders. Lance loves it, man. Lance loves the talent. Lance loves the overall team aspect, the way the direction of the team is going. It can go there. I'm not saying it can't. I'm probably a little bit more pessimistic right now. That's kind of how I live life, right? Like my wife is the eternal optimist. I'm the pessimist. Just that's how it goes, man. Sometimes you just get opposites attract, right? So you got to have somebody that's positive, someone that's kind of I don't want to say I'm negative, but I like to say I keep it real, like the kids do. Keeping it real, but we're getting some comments in here, man. We need to do this more often. Great show, guys. It's nice to see everybody mixing it up a little bit. Yeah, man, it's fun. It's one of the things that we're able to do here at MHH, man. When guys and gals step out, we're able to step in for them, and I'm super thankful to have you on tonight, Lance. It's a super special day, and like I was super pumped, man, because you're a salt of the earth. You're a good man, Lance. We razz each other, but you're a good man. You're a salt of the earth, man. I know how important your family is to you. I know how important loyalty is to you, just like it is to me, man. So like, it was really important to do this show with you on 9/11. And I appreciate you bearing your heart and your soul and kind of telling, speaking from your heart, where were you on 9/11 and what that meant to you. And it was so great to see our community reach out. And if anything tonight, we could be a little bit of a distraction, or we could bring awareness to something like that. And it was just an absolute honor, man. I appreciate it so much.
Yeah, hey, thank you for having me. And like I said, again, apologies for being a little bit late today, guys. That was definitely my fault, but I was having some time with my family tonight. But no, Luke, as always, man, I'm always one of the first guys to jump in there and say, hey, I'll throw my hat in the ring really fast and be able to go and talk some football and get away from Eric for a minute. Like I'm just playing. He's a teddy bear, guys. He's great. He's one of my best friends. In fact, he's going to be at my wedding here soon, and we're going to see you guys here very soon to tail end of September, by the way. Yeah, so just a little shout out there. You all know what's going on if you paid attention to the Dove Valley Deep Divers, if you paid attention to the Huddle Up podcast. Luke, you going to be there?
Does a bear, what in the woods? Of course I'm gonna be there, man. Of course I'm gonna be there, dude. I've been blowing Chad up with all kinds of ideas. He's telling me we got a bunch of special stuff for our MHH community. Broncos country, show up. That Jets game, that very first game, is it the September 18th or 19th?
It's the 26th, actually. September 26th,
man, yeah. I'm way off. Yeah, no, we'll be in Jackson. Don't go to Jacksonville, guys. Yeah, September 26th, MHH. We're gonna be having an awesome party, tailgate party for the very first home opener, and we want to see everybody out there. You don't know who, man, we got some big names coming out there from the MHH airwaves, and I'm super excited to see everybody and get things going. And yeah, man, I'm just look, football's back, baby. Football is back. I'm gonna be up at the crack of dawn tomorrow morning, dude. Do you have a ritual? Do you have a ritual on because I get up early before my wife, before my kid, just on game days, because I love to sleep in when I can. But I don't have to work tomorrow until the Broncos play. I want to enjoy myself a little in the morning for those early games, right? What's your morning look like in the Sanderson household for the very first Broncos game of the year?
So this is actually going to paint a bad light on me, but typically, this is great. This is a great story here. So I actually wear the same pants, the same undershirt, and my throwback 1994 John Elway jersey to every single Broncos game. Does not matter if it's home away, does not matter. Ooh. I wear the same exact pants, shirt, and underwear, by the way, and jersey to every game. The night before, which is tonight, obviously, I will sit here and proceed to drink probably about half a case of beer or so. No, I'm just playing. I will have several adult beverages, and then I wake up first thing in the morning. I eat a bagel with cream cheese and have a screwdriver before anyone wakes up.
Yes.
Yes,
my guy.
This is a real thing. I wake up, have a screwdriver or a Bloody Mary first thing in the morning. I sit down, I watch Red Zone all day, wearing my same like first thing in the morning. Get dressed, have a screwdriver, sit there, watch football all day, and then proceed to sit down and watch the Broncos game. So I'm excited. That's my game day ritual. Luke, what you got for me?
Oh man, I'm gonna get up early, man. I'm gonna get up early, and I'm totally the get off my lawn guy, literally. So I'm gonna go out. I manually water my front yard. I'm that guy. I don't need a sprinkler. You should see it. It's immaculate, by the way. I'm that guy. I don't know why, man. I hit 30, and then things are different now. I'm just in love with my lawn. So I'm out there watering the lawn. I'm gonna have the dog out there. I'm gonna be chilling, sipping on my coffee. I'm gonna have, Red Zone fired up, man. And I'm just gonna enjoy the morning games before we have to get to work because Broncos, man, I'm so excited. We're gonna see some new stuff, some new film, some new players. It's one of the best times of the year, man. So I cannot wait. But guys, this is gonna wrap it up. Hey, real quick, we got to make sure. I know Lance washes them, Richie. All right, he washes them. But my question though, you're a tall guy. You're a tall guy, Lance. So how's that jersey still fit? Like, because you're tall, dude. I mean, it's got to be like a crop top now, like Zeke, right?
No, it's a double XL Broncos away jersey, John Elway away jersey with the orange and blue sleeves. It's crispy, but it's old. It is old. I've had this jersey for over a decade now, and as many Broncos games that it has also seen some things fall on top of it, and. I won't necessarily discuss the condition of the jersey. However, it is clean every single week. It is clean. If they win in spectacular fashion, I just hang the jersey up. I wash all the rest of it, but the jersey is the overshirt. So I do have that superstition. I was that guy in baseball where you don't wash your socks, and we're never going back to that.
Some things you just can't recover from. Unwashed socks are definitely one of them. And what's funny too is like my dogs will know it's football season tomorrow because I'll be screaming at the TV. For good or for better or worse, man. Like my husky is just gonna be gone. She hates it. She doesn't understand what's going on. My kid has sadly accepted it. My wife understands what's going on, and I'm coaching flag football now. So if any of y'all have flag football tips, I know you're coaching your kids, and I think you're in tackle football though. I'm trying to learn this flag football game, guys. So I'm coaching 8-year-olds and not quite sure what I'm doing. So if you got any tips, hit me up at Luke Patterson LP.
Trick plays in flag football, reverses and pitchbacks and stuff like that. Okay. That is the key to flag football because everyone runs one way and then you have one person run the other way and they're gone.
Well, and here's something else. So I've got my daughter on, right? And she's got a cannon of an arm. She's a lefty too, though. And I'm right-handed.
Really?
Okay. So it's been bizarre trying to teach her stuff, like left-handed. But we've got 3 girls. Girls and women in football are just on the rise, man. And like, I know y'all see those videos of girls cutting dudes up in flag football, dude, man. So if you got girls out there and they are interested in football, get them signed up. It's no longer just a boys sport. Hell, look at GM George Payton, Broncos brass, the scouting unit. They are putting a huge emphasis on not only winning, but winning with the right people, regardless on if they're men or women. So that's going to wrap it up for today's show. Respect 9/11. We remember, we will never forget. Guys, get at Lance at Sanderson MHH. Get at me at Luke Patterson LP. Get on over to the mothership at Mile High Huddle. Be sure to get on Twitter for the at MHI_pod, the huddleuppod.com. That's where you can go ahead and get your swag on. Grab yourself a Dove Valley Deep Divers hat, an MHI. Yeah, gosh dang, man, you're just swagged out. Get yourself an MHI shirt, MHI hat. Anything you need, man. There's stuff for your lady. There's stuff for your man. There's something for your kid there. Get it going. And, dude, I had a blast, man. It always goes super fast. If you're on Facebook.com/Mile High Huddle, be sure to subscribe, like, and share. Click those little thumbs up, guys. And do not forget, we're trying to get to, 500,000? Is that what
250,000? I'll take this one here. 250,000. 250,000 stars on Facebook, guys, is going to get you entered into a drawing, a raffle at the end of the month for a Justin Simmons jersey, guys. We did a giveaway last month. 500,000 was the goal last month. We ran through August, got into September before we did it. Howie freaking Day over there on Facebook is the one that walked away with that Von Miller jersey. But this month we're doing 250,000 stars for a Justin Simmons jersey, and also to our YouTube community because they were not entered into the last giveaway. Top 5 Super Chat Superstars of the month are going to be entered into the raffle as well. We're going to do a giveaway for the Facebook community and also the YouTube community. So guys, make sure every single show you guys get in with your Super Chats, get in with your star donations. Make sure you guys comment to us as well. Join the conversation over at milehighhuddle.com. And yeah, Luke, that's pretty much a spiel there.
Hell yeah, man. Get on over to milehighhuddle.com tomorrow, guys. We're going to have all kinds of content up. Get on the YouTube channel, Huddle Up Boys. We'll be taking you through. I don't know if they're doing a pre-kickoff. I know they're doing a post-kickoff. So get on over to this channel. And guys, football is back, baby. Football is back. Enjoy your time. Enjoy each other. Be good. And go Broncos.